Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to a wonderful Wednesday. A little Naruto fight music for you. All right, guys, I hope that you were able to go over the test and give it your best shot. I want to go over it today. And this will be your second assignment that you need to hand in for the week. So we had, I think, one assignment that I gave you on Monday on outliers, and then this will be the second assignment, this test. So guys, let me clear up a couple of things about assignments. Remember, I'm going to give you 2 a week. You can make sure that you get those to me by no later than Sunday of the week that they're due. So like the assignments for this week, you need to have those to me by Sunday of this coming Sunday. So you have a week and part of the weekend to get them done. And again, like I said many times, the easiest way to probably do that is to do it on a separate sheet of paper and then take a picture of that and email me the photo. Because sometimes it's kind of hard to figure out how to write on the actual worksheets on Classroom. So let's go ahead and get started on going over the test. Let me change these windows. All right, there we go. So I made this window a little bit larger so that you guys can see. So you may not be able to see all of the questions in the background, but you guys can follow along. All right, so let's take a look at number 1. So below are the times it took to run a 5K race for each participant. Create a dot plot for the data. All right, so here is all of the data here in order. So for you guys, I'm not going to do the complete dot plot, but you get the idea of what you would want to do is you go ahead and make your number line. And look, since it's starting at 21, you don't have to start yours at 0. You could start yours at 21 and then end it at 37 if you wanted to do that. But I'm just going to put in a couple of points here. I'm not all of it. So 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. I'm just going to put in that for right now. So if I were to do a dot plot, I'm going to look at my numbers and see, okay, so I had 121, so I'm going to put a dot right above 21. There's 122, I'm going to put a dot there. There were no 23s, there were 2 24s, so I'm going to put 2 dots on 24. No 25s, and again, 2 dots on 26. And then you guys would continue doing that all the way up to 37. So that's what the dot plot would look like. Now, the next it says, what is the median and the mean? All right, so the median, of course, is the center number that divides it in half. So how many do we have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So there's 15. So that means that the median number is going to be the 8th number up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 31. Because that's going to divide. I'm going to have 7 on this side, and then I'll have 7 over on this side. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep. So 31 is your median. What's the mean? Well, in order to get the mean, you would add all of these numbers together and then divide by 15. So when you do that, I already did this before, add them all up together, divide it by 15, you end up with 29.4. Okay, so that is the mean, also known as the average, right? Okay, so there's number 1, pretty easy. Let's go on to number 2. All right, so the first thing that you guys needed to do was to fill in the number of values for each interval on this frequency table here. So I'll try to recreate it as best I can here. So 1 through 20, I'm just going to put equals, okay? 21 through 40, 41 to 60, 61 to 80, and then 81 to 100. Okay? So, how many bags of candies had between 1 and 20 chocolates? Well, when we look at the number, we see that there's none. There's no data points that are between 1 and 20. How about between 21 and 40? Well, if we were to go through and count up, there's 22 data points, or 22 numbers. Of those 22 numbers, there were 4 of them between 21 and 40. Then we go to 41 to 60, and we see that there were 6 of those between 41 and 60. Between 61 and 80, there were 7. And between 81 and 100, there were 2. Now, we have some numbers that are left over. There's 1, 2, 3 numbers that are over 100. But look, they're not asking us for anything over 100. They just stop at 81 to 100. That's their last interval. So there is nothing above 100. Okay? So this is what the table would look like for number of values. Now we go down to here, and we have to draw our histogram, or box plot. Not box plot, bar graph. So you have your y-axis here, your x-axis here. So on the y-axis, there's 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oops, draw one more, and that's 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then down here we have 1 through 20, 21 to 40, 41 to 60, 61 to 80, and then 81 to 100. Not bad. Not bad for the artwork. So, how do we draw a bar graph? Well, we go back to our numbers, and we remember that from our table here that we just filled out, number of values, there was nothing in 1 through 20. So I'm not going to put anything here on this. There's no bar right here because there were none. For 21 to 40, there were 4. So I'm going to draw a bar up to 4 like this. And there we go. For 41 through 60, there were 6. So I'm going to draw a bar up to 6, like so. 61 to 80, there were 7. So this goes up to here. That's not very good drawing. I'm sorry. There we go. There we go. And then 81 to 100, there were 2. Okay? That's how you would do it, guys. So remember, histograms or bar graphs go on intervals, not specific numbers. We're not putting a dot for every data point like we did on the dot plot here. This represents each data point. There's 1 here, 1 there, there's 2 there, 2 there. We're not doing that with this histogram. We're using intervals. How many were there between 21 and 40? There were 4 of them, so we would draw a bar up to 4 like that. Okay? So, pretty easy. All right, let's move on. Number 3. So we did this in a review yesterday. Hopefully you guys watched that review. And we have to do a box and whisker plot. So, remember guys, you need 5 numbers. The minimum, maximum, the median, and then quartile 1 and quartile 3. And quartile 1 and quartile 3 are additional medians, but quartile 1 is the median of the lower half of numbers. Quartile 3 is the median of the upper half of numbers. So, first thing we have to do is put these numbers in order, which I've done here, number 3. So here's the data points put in order. That allows us to easily figure out, let's see, I'm going to put this here. So the minimum is obviously 2. The maximum is obviously 24. What's the median? Well, how many numbers we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So that means the 7th number is going to be our median. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 13. So that divides it into 6 on this side, 6 on that side. Quartile 1, that is the median of the lower half. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So our median is going to fall between numbers 3 and 4. When I say 3 and 4, I'm talking about position 3 and position 4. So this is the 3rd number. That's the 4th number. My median is in between. So what falls in the middle between 7 and 9? Well, that would be 8. So Q1 is 8. And then we do the same thing up here. So it's going to be between the 3rd and the 4th number. 1, 2, 3, 4. So between here. 18 plus, now we got to find the middle point between 18 and 21. So add them together and divide by 2. 21 plus 18 is 39. And 39 divided by 2 is 19.5. So Q3 is 19.5. So now that I've got those 5 points, I can go ahead and make my box and whisker plot. So we're going to draw a number line. And it goes from 2 to 24, right? Oh boy, let's see. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4. Pretty good, Mac. Not bad at all. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, and then 24 all the way in the end there. Okay, so now we plot, or we put on the number line our 5 points that we just identified. So minimum is 2, put a dot there. Maximum, 24, put a dot there. Our median is 13, so 12, 13 right there. Our Q1 is 8, and Q3 is 19.5. So here's 19, here's 20, so 19.5 is going to be right in between. Now remember, our box is the 3 points in the center. In the middle, these 3 points make up our box. So, go like that. There's our box. We draw a line through our median. And for our whisker, a line there and a line right there. Okay. And there you go, guys. Box and whisker plot. Pretty easy. All right. Let's move on. Number 4, there are 2 parts to it. Find the mean, median, mode, and range for each set of numbers. Well, again, in order to do that, guys, you're going to have to put them in order, which I've already done here. So, let's take a look at the first one here. Let's find the mean. So, this could take a little bit, but we're going to add all these numbers up together. 5 plus 6 plus 6 plus 9 plus 11 plus 13, 3 times 15, 18, 24, 28, 33, 36, 48. And how many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So we divide by 15, and we get 18.53. So we'll just call it 18.5. So the mean, 18.5. Median, what's the center number? There were 15 numbers, right? So the number in exactly the center is going to be the 8th number on the list. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 13, because that's going to split it into 7 on this side and 7 on that side. The mode, which number occurs the most? Well, it looks like 13 occurs 3 times. So that is going to be the mode. And what's the range? From here to here. So 5 to 48 is, range is 43. Okay? Let's look at letter B here. So again, I put these in order. Mean, the average, bust out the calculator, add all the numbers together, 12 plus 16 plus 20 plus 22 plus 34 plus 41 plus 50 plus 56, 62 plus 62 again, plus 74 plus 81. And we divide by how many numbers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 44.16. So let's just call it 44.2. We'll just round it up to 1 decimal point. What's the median? Well, there's 12 numbers. So the median is going to be between the 6th and the 7th number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's going to be here between these two guys. So in order to find, because there's 12, right? That'll divide it 6 on the high side, 6 on the low side. So how do we find it? Add the two together that it's in between and divide by 2. Take the average. But this time we're only taking the average of 2 numbers. 41 plus 50 is 91 divided by 2. It's 45.5. So the median, 45.5. How about the mode? What number occurs the most? Looks like just 62. Occurs twice. And then finally the range, from 12 to 81. So 81 minus 12, 69. Range equals 69. All right, guys? So you can kind of see, these are, again, all measures of center. All right? Great. Last problem. This was the standard deviation problem. All right, so on the math portion of the SAT, the scores are normally distributed. You have to have that normal distribution if you're going to work with standard deviation. The mean was 500. Standard deviation was 100. So let's take a look. So let's go ahead and draw, or attempt to draw, a bell curve. Not bad. And here is the mean, is 500. So the standard deviation, we'll go 1, 2, 3, is 100. So that means 600, 700, 800. And if we go minus 1, 2, 3, we're going to have 400, 300, and 200. Okay? So what percentage of SAT scores are above 400? Okay. Here's 400. Let me get a different color. 400 is right here. Right? We want to know what percent is above 400. Well, let's remember our chart. Okay? We know that one standard deviation away from the mean is 68%. So this is 34%, and this is 34%. Okay? We also know, actually, you know what? Let's pull up our cheat sheet chart. All right, there we go, guys. There's a little cheat sheet chart here. So we want to know how many, or what percent is above -1 standard deviation, which is 400. So what do? Let's add up everything to the right of -1. So we got 34 and 34 is 68. That's the old trusty calculator. So we have 68 plus 13.5 plus 2.35 and 0.15 gives us 84. So 84% of the scores are above 400. Okay? Let's take a look at the next question. Let's go back here. There we go. What percentage of scores are above 500? So here's the mean. Well, guess what? The mean splits everything 50-50, right? So above the mean is going to be 50%, because the mean is exactly half, and half of 100% is 50%. So 50% is above the mean, 50% is below. Easy enough. Letter C, what percentage of SAT scores are below 700? Well, here's 700. 2 standard deviations to the right. Okay. What percent are below that? We can refer to our cheat sheet if you want to. So 2 standard deviations is here, and we want to know everything below it. So let's add it up. 13.5% plus 68% in the middle, plus another 13.5%, plus 2.35 and 2.35 and 0.15. That's 97.5%. So 97.5% are below 700. The other way you could answer this question is you could say, okay, well, how many are above 700? In this case, if I look at my cheat sheet, I only have to add 2 together, 2.35 and 0.15. Those are the 2 that are above 700. Well, that's 2.5%. I could then just subtract 2.5% from 100%, and that would also give me 97.5. So either way, you could have answered that question that way. All right? And I think there's one more, guys. Let's see. Aha. Between what 2 values do approximately 95% of SAT scores lie? Pretty easy here. They kind of give it to you on the chart itself. 95% of the data are between the second deviation on the right and the second deviation on the left. So here's our first standard deviation here. That's 68%. When we get to the second standard deviation out here, that's 95%. So what 2 values make up 95%? Between 300 and 700. Okay? So the answer to that question, they're not looking for a percent, they're looking for intervals. Between what 2 numbers is 95% of the data? Well, here's my second standard deviation here. Here's my second standard deviation here. I know that between that out 2 standard deviations account for 95% of the data. You can see it on the little graph that's provided there for you. 95% of the data is the second standard deviation. So it's between 300 and 700. All right, guys, that is the test review. I hope that all of you, the most important thing is I want you guys to understand how to do this stuff. I hope that yesterday's review and then going over all of this stuff today, it's not really about putting the right answers on a piece of paper. You know, anybody can do that. I'm just hoping that you guys have a better understanding of how this stuff works. It will definitely help you next year in geometry. All right. So for tonight, tomorrow's Friday. So for tonight, what I want you guys to do is to go ahead and watch Algebra Nation, Chapter 10 or Section 10, the first video. So while you guys are here, I'll show it to you. Actually, let me see if I can find it here. All right, so here we are, Algebra Nation. Scroll down Section 10, 2 variable statistics. Go ahead and watch the first video, Topic 1, relationship between 2 categorical variables. Sounds complicated, but it's really not. I'm going to go over the key points of that stuff of this video with you guys tomorrow. Give you a little something to do over the weekend. So make sure you watch this video. Great work today, guys. Don't forget to comment on this video below so that I can add you to attendance. Make sure that you hand in your this test that we just went over along with outliers. Make sure that I get that by this weekend. Just email it to me. That should be it. Have a great night. Talk to you tomorrow.